Hello friends, I'm DustFood, and today we are going to take a break from my usual style of video, which tends to be lists, it tends to be kind of rankings, or it tends to be opinion pieces where I talk about some random topic that comes to mind. Today, what we're going to do is more of a reaction style video. But don't worry, I'm not going to pull up somebody else's video, play it, and just say wow a couple times. We're going to go a little further than that with all this, and today what I want to talk about is a recent thing that was kind of cool. It started out kind of cool, and I think it took an unfortunate direction. So DBD content creator The King made a recent post on Twitter, I'm not calling it X, you can't make me, where he said if you could ask the DBD devs one serious question, what would it be? And then he says, for me, I'd ask about any new information on new prototype game modes. And what he did was kind of Trojan horsing this, because this was not announced as some official Q&A from the devs, right? And by putting his own take on there, it's almost like, oh, this is just another post to Twitter. This is just another thing, you know, okay, whatever. But what was fun about it is if you scroll down, which I realize I'm not showing it on screen, but if you did scroll down, you would see that almost every one of the top questions had a comment from the official Dead by Daylight Twitter account. So this was a backdoor Q&A, which is a really cool concept, and it makes sense that they would choose King. He's obviously one of their favorite content creators, and this was cool to spotlight him in this way, because I'm sure that will drive some more traffic to his Twitter account and all that. So look, wins all around on that front. And again, there were some cool things discussed here. Somebody asked about Michael Myers, and they said, hey, yep, we're working on something. We can't really talk about it yet, which I mean, I know that's, I will say they did kind of do the same thing where it's a bunch of like, hey, we can't really tell you anything yet, but I promise it's happening. And I know some people get bent out of shape about that, and it's fair. That is very fair to get frustrated by that. But that being said, it is at least cool to know they're working on Michael Myers, they're working on putting a field of view slider in the game. You know, they answered some questions about locker saves and why they decided to nerf that, which I actually think was a good call, but I know some survivors don't like that so much. They even addressed the whole thing about the whole comment that has become so emblematic of this is something we're working on and may be implemented in the future, but we can't say more. And, you know, I mean, the response was both bad and kind of fair, where they basically just said, there's a lot of stuff in the game. You may ask us about something that we know we want to get to at some point, but we can't really comment on now, which again, kind of fair, but you really feel like if you're going to open yourself up to a Q&A, you need to come ready with answers. As far as what was said, I think I'll just link the actual post under this video, and you can go and read all of it yourself. The only thing I really want to comment on outside of what I'm going to make this whole video about is they did say the Garden of Joy is due for a rework. It is next on their list. Thank goodness. Oh my goodness. I used to dream of days like these. I hate the Garden of Joy. I hate it as a killer, but then I also kind of hate it as a survivor because I just feel so nasty playing on it. It is so survivor-sided, and I say that as something of a survivor main these days. So, anyway, those were that's a general overview of what happened, but they had one response that took this from being, I would have probably made a video on this anyway, because I think it was a cool thing they did. A backdoor Q&A, are you kidding me? That's cool. But they took it and they ruined it with one bad answer. One thing that is so ridiculous, I have to comment on it because I think it spells not doom necessarily. The new camping mechanics may be what spells doom for the game, but that's another issue. What it spells is a change in philosophy that I'm not happy about at all. So it all started when Twitter user Papa, or Papa, because they have an accent marker over it, they said, could we possibly see a reworked devotion system? Are there plans to add more prestige rewards? What is the possibility of getting other miscellaneous player-specific cosmetics? Can we, pretty please with sugar on top, get a legendary Makote skin, or Makote skin for Dwight? Makote, wow, I butchered that one. Makote skin for Dwight. Okay, so what they said here was just atrocious. It was bad. And they've been getting cooked for it. They've been getting cooked for it, and they deserve to be cooked for it. So, here's what the official Dead by Daylight Twitter account said. On prestige, at least, that's always a tough choice. It'd be really cool to have a fancy reward for hitting P100, but at the same time, that's an insane amount of progress, and we don't want people to feel like they're missing out by not hitting it. Prestige is, ultimately, meant to be a goal for people who have already done everything else, so we don't want to lock too much content behind it. Oh, deep breaths. Wow, that's an atrocious answer. That's a bad answer. That's a really bad answer. And like I said, they've been getting cooked for it. And as soon as I read it, I was flabbergasted that they would just come out and say it, because what irks me about it is that it's a lie. It is a bold-faced lie, and I try. You can go back even as recently as my Wesker video this week, or the Nerf video this week. I said I try to not assume the worst with the devs. I try to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I really do try that. This one, however, is undeniable. This is a lie. They are lying to us, and it's pretty obvious. And that's one reason I'm a little more heated than I normally am. Because, you know, I play this game for fun. I just try to have a good time. But when I see something like this, it makes you reconsider. It's like, really? These are the people we're supporting? Like, this is so silly. And that may be too harsh to say, these are the people we're supporting. But let me just explain why I hate this so much. Let me explain. So there have been people who pointed it out. Farmer John, great content creator, he commented on it. I think Mint Skull, another fantastic content creator, made a whole video on it. And it's something that a lot of people have noticed. You mention Dead by Daylight behavior. You mention that you don't want people to have FOMO, fear of missing out. You don't want them to feel like, oh, well, these people have this cool thing and we can't have it. Well, that's kind of strange, isn't it? It's kind of strange in the current Dead by Daylight climate where you have the, the Deep Rift, where they have said, once the Deep Rift items are gone, they're gone forever. So you better buy your battle pass and you better do the whole thing. Whether you gotta grind it like a second job or you just wanna pay USD dollars to get all the way through it, you know, pay in Vietnamese dong, pay in whatever you wanna pay, but you better pay. You gotta do that to get these items or they're gone forever. Now, sure, they just kind of lame blue recolors of existing cosmetics. Yeah, but it's still something somebody might really want, and it's gone forever. FOMO. What about the seasonal cosmetics, right? They do it every Christmas. Every Christmas, you get the winter event, and you get seasonal cosmetics. Halloween, I've had to wait because I was in Hungary during the Halloween event last year, so I've had to wait till what's going to be coming in like the next few weeks whenever we get the Halloween event again, because I want the hag skin for the whole swamp creature thing she got, right? It's a great skin, but I haven't been able to buy it because it's seasonal. I have missed out. And now I'm going to give them what they want because I am a consumer. I am a consumer, so I'm going to give them what they want, and I am going to buy this cosmetic lest I have to wait another year to buy it. So don't tell me that FOMO isn't in the game. I mean, hell, think of the Attack on Titan cosmetics. You can't tell me that with how short of a time they were in the game, that they didn't know they were temporary. Right? This isn't a Stranger Things situation where I think they were genuinely caught off guard, where I think they were genuinely blindsided by Netflix saying, nope, you can't have Demogorgon anymore. Nope, we're taking Steve, we're taking Nancy, we're taking the kids, and we're taking the house. You can't have Hawkins either. It's all gone. And they even took the dog, Netflix. You're gonna stay catching strays for that. But it was different with the Attack on Titan thing. They clearly knew this was going to be a limited time deal, and once it's gone, it's gone. Which a lot of games do, but that doesn't change that it's scummy. It's still fear of missing out. It's still buy this now. It's so effective that I, a person who has never watched Attack on Titan, almost bought the skins in their last few days of being in the shop because I was like, oh, what if I watch it one day and I like the show and I regret not having it? But thankfully, I decided it was too big of a price to pay. I'm not going to do it. I was able to show some strength in that regard. So, claps for food. And all of this just circles back to what I really hate about modern gaming. Modern gaming has reached this point where it has become a second job with so many of these always online games. Now, yes, we have gotten breaths of fresh air. We've gotten these last gasps of life that would indicate the gaming industry is still kind of alive, right? You're talking about the new Cyberpunk DLC, which I've been told is fantastic. You're talking about Baldur's Gate 3, which is so good that I couldn't bring myself to play anything else for weeks, right? You're talking about Starfield, which people seem to love. I haven't played it yet, but I do generally like Bethesda games, so I'll get around to it at some point, right? We do have these games that come out that are still showing that there are good things about the gaming industry, but so much of it has moved towards this Madden Ultimate Team, this Fortnite Battle Pass. We've moved past loot boxes to some extent, but we've moved into something more insidious, and Dead by Daylight is absolutely a part of that. The whole thing is based around getting people into your game, getting them addicted to the grind, and giving them crumbs so that they stay locked in. And you give them things with FOMO so that they feel like, well, if I don't dedicate more time to this, then I'm going to miss out. You can't tell me there aren't people who start grinding the game like crazy in the final week of the Rift because they realize, oh shoot, I have got to do something or I'm going to miss out on these cool Nick Cage American flag pants, right? Or whatever it is. It's an American flag belt buckle that's currently in the currently in the thing. Yeah, so I look at this and I just see through the deception, and judging by the response, a lot of people see through the deception. And what's so sad about this is they have a fantastic opportunity. And I hope that with this, they come back and they say, okay, let's recalibrate, right? Because right now, it's very obvious why they're doing what they're doing. They're doing what they're doing because they don't feel the need to cater to the hardcore fan, because they think the hardcore fans are going to buy skins regardless. They think that they're hooked so deep, that hook is in there so solidly that they really can't mess it up. So what they want to do is they want to focus on getting the FOMO to get the people who are more on the peripheral edge of things. They want to get them to commit more time to the game. And I feel like that's a real mistake, because I think back in the day, right? I'm going to do the old man thing. Well, back in my day, way back when I played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the old one, not the reboot, when I played Black Ops, if you played against people and they had a really cool skin, whether it was on their gun or whatever, you knew that this person had put in some serious time with that gun. They had gotten however many headshots or whatever the challenge would be. And that was so cool. Dead by Daylight could absolutely do that. They could absolutely do that, and it would make the game not just better, it would make it 1,000 times better if reaching P10 had one reward, P20 had another, or even if they don't want to do that many, P25, P50, 75, 100. That's all you gotta do. Only 4. And that's all we're asking. Or even, I think most people, and I may be wrong, I think most people would actually be all right if you just had one for P100. If there was only a reward for P100. Now you'd be better off giving us multiple rewards, because again, you're showing that commitment to people who stick to your game, who are loyal, who play your game. They get commitment outside of having 10,000 flashlights and medkits, right? That would be better. But even if it was just P100 came with an alternate skin, that if somebody's running it, you know they're P100. You know that they've put a lot of blood points into that character. That'd be cool. Now, even cooler would be if there were rewards for, like, let's say on the survivor side of things, maybe you escape 1,000 trials as Meg Thomas. You get a really cool skin, right? Or maybe you stun the killer 100 times with Jonah Vasquez. You get a cool skin, or at least a cool piece of a skin, something like that. I feel like there's a lot to be said there. And obviously once you get to killers, it gets really cool. X amount of bottle tosses with the clown, X amount of, whatever, I don't know, crow damage with the artist, things like that. That way you get to know that the people you're playing have actually played the characters instead of just put blood points into them. And again, it gives you that incentive to go around, play different characters. I think it's just a win-win-win-win, but they're not going to do it because, again, I hate to go right for the worst case scenario here, but they can't monetize it. And if they can't monetize it, I don't think they're interested in it. It's a sad reality. It's a sad reality where gaming is. It really, I'm getting heated. I'm getting pressed about video games, which makes me today's big loser, right? In Practical Joker style, Das Food got angry about a video game. He is tonight's big loser. I am so frustrated by this current system where if it's not monetizable, it's not interested. They're not interested in doing it. We can't make money off of it, so we're not interested. I think that's really pitiful. I think it's pitiful. And I hope that, by the way, before I go further, which actually we're getting pretty close to the end, but I've seen some people say, oh, there are such bigger issues than this. Yes and no. Yes, there are bigger issues than Prestige 100. 1000%. Yes, absolutely yes. Completely agree. Where I disagree is the mindset. The mindset that we're seeing from the devs here, where if they can't monetize it, they don't really care about it. That's what bothers me. And I know some people are going to make the case like, well, technically they can't monetize character reworks, buffs and nerfs and all that. Yes, but if you don't do anything, if you just sit on your hands, the community will continue to get discontent until they leave. So I think that they have to do these big things like nerfs and buffs, because again, if something's actively ruining the gameplay experience for people, they're going to try to address it. However, if it's something more in the background, something that would add enjoyment, but most players, let's say 60% or so, don't really care to think about, they're not going to touch it, right? It's I do think it was Mint Skull who made the same point, that that's why we haven't seen some kind of new Mori system, even though I slightly disagree, only in that they could hypothetically monetize Moris. So, you know, in the very least, I think that's something we'll get one day, and it'll be like $5 for every new Mori, which that's cool. I don't know. I look at this and I think that it really speaks to, yes, gaming as a whole, but it goes to show you behavior is not immune to the greed of the gaming community. And I've tried to be so friendly with them, and I've tried to give them the benefit of the doubt, but this one, to me, this is just gross. I don't like it. It makes me feel bad about the direction of the game. And again, it's me getting pressed about skins. So maybe I'm just a silly guy. Maybe I'm just a goofy goober. And if so, then that, you know, let it be. But I thought this was a terrible answer, and I had to vent about it for a little while. So thank you for being my soundboard for just a minute. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're not getting angry about video games, but I do hope you see my point here, right? I try to reserve this. I would never give you faux outrage, right? I'm not out here yelling Alex Jones style about how they're turning the freaking frog skate. I'm not out here doing any of that. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed. But all the same, the world keeps going, you know, it keeps spinning. Life is good. And at the end of the day, I'm the real goober who just got angry about a bad answer in a Twitter Q&A. So anyway, it was a cool idea. I do think that there were some promising things that came out of the Q&A. I'm just very disappointed by this one aspect of it. But I want to know what you think. Is this at all something that you're with me on, or am I just the old man yelling at the clouds? Again, I realize I've reached the point where I'm very much a back in my day type of guy, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But anyway, I hope you are having a lovely day. I hope things are going well for you. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. I don't even have to say it. But of course, until the next one, I have been Das Food. Bye, friends.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my